gummy bear.
It's the internet, you're busy, let's do this for February 3rd, 2023. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today we are walking in a graveyard of live service games, but first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Tamoor Hussain. Tam, how are you doing?
I am ready to take out the Friday trash.
Yes, let's get all
do it.
bundled
Let's
up.
get the driest stories that we can from the week and try and inject some life into this. It's not called Friday, it's called Dry Day.
Here
Let's
we
get
are.
behind it.
It's ashy dry day. We're just gonna apply some lotion to the skin and hope for the best.
Yep.
I suppose I could have saved one of the stories from yesterday for today. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't thinking about you, Tam. That is my big issue. So I wasn't thinking about you.
You know what? It's fine. I'm like, I see this as a challenge now. Can we get here and make some sort of interesting, entertaining show out of the most boring stories of the week?
Yes. It was a good week, and now here we are on Friday. And, all right, We'll get into all of that. First, let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you're watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Okay. We have a lot to get into.
Wait. Please. Wait. Before we go, I've highlighted some text here in this document.
Sure.
It says, Tamoor Hussain. So intro, Tam, how you feeling today? And then just the words Mario 64, Legacy of Kain, Tomb Raider.
Yeah, this was a bit. I was writing this down from last week. This was like a quiz for you. I was like, what do you think about this? And I was like I can't keep all these things in my head at the same time. What was it about? I don't remember.
I don't remember that at all.
Last week might as well not have happened. The Langoliers have come for it, and I've swallowed it all up.
You know what, Jeff Grubb? Not enough references in pop culture to Stephen King's The Langoliers.
Yes, let's bring that back on a Friday.
Remake The Langoliers.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Did they not remake The Langoliers? I could have swore they did that.
Did they turn it into a TV show or something like that?
I don't know. I figure at this point, I just figure everything's getting remade, reused, recycled. But I don't know for sure. I just kind of assumed. But what the fuck are Langoliers? Well, listen, if you don't know, we're not going to tell you. Yeah. They swallow up yesterday. Basically, that's the whole thing. Stephen King.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it with this first story. Knockout City to be shut down this summer. This comes from Bharat Ozkan at DualShockers. Developer Velan Studios has announced that its player versus player dodgeball game, Knockout City, will be shutting down on June 6th, just 2 years after its initial launch. Once public servers for Knockout City are removed, the game will no longer be playable except for private servers on the PC version. This is a quote. There are several aspects of the game in need of major disruption to better attract and retain enough players to be sustainable. Since we are a small indie studio, it's simply impossible for us to make those kinds of systemic changes in the live game while continuing to support it, Velan Studios explained in its blog post. So it became clear to us that we needed to take a step back and pave the way for Velan to do what we do best by innovating. While we can't promise that Knockout City will be back, what we can promise is that you'll continue to see new and innovative games from Velan Studios that will surprise and delight players around the world. This has just been a death march recently for live service games, Tam. We got another one here in a second. I remember for a long time now, people are like, oh, people have a finite amount of time. All these things are competing for one another. And I think that's always been true. But I think these games are like, well, if we can kind of like push through a little bit, if we can get to like 10,000 daily active players, make that top 30 every day on Steam, we could survive on that. We could build a business model around that. It just seems like maybe that is coming to an end, and these games feel like they're not big enough, and it's just time to move on. And I think the future live service games are going to be fewer and further between, and also have to be bigger, it seems like.
Yeah, I think sustainability is the problem, not specifically in terms of like, can you keep new content coming in, but like, are people ready to commit to a long-term interest in it? You kind of have to a degree, you have to make that live service part of your life, right? And there's not a lot of opportunity to do that for some of these games. I feel like we've reached a point now where the live service lifestyle style games that are going to be integrated into your daily life probably have already come and are there now. And it seems quite narrow-minded to say like there's never going to be any other live service game that pushes through. But I feel like there's a decent chance that could be the case. Like, there's a decent chance that, you know, the live service games that we have now are it, because it's going to be Fortnite, it's going to be PUBG to a degree, it's going to be Call of Duty, it's going to be, you know, Apex and that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean,
if you think about it, like other games that have gone live service, I don't know how well they're doing, but they're definitely not hitting the same kind of levels of zeitgeist that the others who we treat as mainstays are. Look at Overwatch 2, for example. That's a major, technically a AAA shooter multiplayer that has an established franchise, a well-regarded development team, has got years of kind of a refinement to it, and has a massive player base. They made the kind of pivot to a live service style game, and I don't know, like the interest level, the buzz around it isn't as high. I love that game. I love Overwatch, but I don't know. Is it the kind of experience that is going to have longevity? I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, and I think when you say like, oh, there's a chance that like not another game will break through, I think almost that could be the case for big publishers trying to make their live service games. I think inevitably there will be stuff like, you know, the next Tarkov, the next PUBG that comes out of Steam from nowhere, from a little team that's innovating with ideas that no one's ever thought about before, and they're just trying something that's an early access game and it takes over the world. That will keep happening. But the idea that in EA is going to publish a Knockout City and that's going to be the next big game that like takes over the world, it feels very, very slim at this point. That's going to happen.
It feels like fortuity and luck meeting innovation and circumstance more than a group of people sitting down and going, we are going to make the next big, you know, live service game. You kind of have to hope that you get lucky with a bit of magic. Like, and that's why I look at like Ubisoft's desperate attempts to make these kind of live service games. I'm like, I don't think you can pull it off, man. And it's not because your games are bad. I mean, some of them are, but like, it's not because like your people are. I think it's like, it's one of those things where you gotta. It's like love, you know.
It is like
you got to stop looking for it, and that's when you'll find it.
Yep, let it find you. Sliding doors, serendipity, all that stuff. John Cusack movies. Exactly. The other side of this story, there is that thing about private servers on the PC version. So apparently, what they're doing with Knockout City is they are going to launch a version of the game where people can host servers themselves, so that they can keep playing this game even when the developer stops supporting it and stops running servers. That is pretty idea. Cool. Isn't that nice? Great. Yeah, it's so refreshing.
Yeah, that's fantastic because like Knockout City is a great game. Like it's so much fun and it's so different and it's like really cool. And it would be a shame to see it disappear entirely, especially given the hard work that team has put into it. I'm glad that at least people who are into that game can still have a way of, you know, making that work and figuring out how to play it.
Yes, absolutely. I kind of hope this becomes the norm going forward. I've seen a lot of reaction to that effect online. We're like, hey, this should be copied pretty much beat for beat. If this is how the game's going to go, and if everyone's going to be going with live service games, think about it from the beginning. A way for once your servers go down for people to support it among the community. Up next, Turtle Rock is to stop supporting Back for Blood. This is from the studio themselves. With 3 expansions, Tunnels of Terror, Children of the Worm, and River of Blood, we've traveled on a fantastic journey together beyond the walls of Fort Hope. This phase of our war against the Ridden now comes to a close. Turtle Rock Studios is actually pretty small for a studio making AAA games. We don't have quite enough folks to continue working on Back 4 Blood content while we spin up another game. Yes, we are making another game. Given this, it's time for us to put our heads down, get back in the lab, and get to work on the next big thing. This is not a goodbye. Back 4 Blood will continue to operate, of course. In fact, Back 4 Blood is currently offered on PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium and available as part of Xbox Game Pass. So they're indie development on this game. They are not shutting it down. It continues to operate. But they are basically, this is another live service game coming to an end. Although live service maybe, I mean, this is like it splits the difference, right? It's that old style of getting expansions, but it was a game you were supposed to go back to over and over, and it was on these subscription services where you're supposed to think about games in terms of like, well, we will go back to it all the time. Still though, shutting down development, moving on. Not too surprising, right?
Yeah, it's that interest, right? Like it's that interest level when you build your kind of business or your game around live service. You're also kind of taking a gamble, or you're putting in pencil writing an expiration date on that game to a degree, because you know that at a certain point the interest is going to move away from your game to something else, and at that point you have to, once you cross that threshold where it's no longer worth supporting that game, you need to be ready with something new. And I think they're probably looking at this now and saying, hey, we did the year's worth of, or whatever, how long it was, how we said we were going to support this game for. It's not like it's blown up in a way where we need to focus our efforts on it, like a Rocket League, where it's like out of nowhere, it's massive, and now that is the thing that they do. They need to start laying the foundations for the next thing so that they can keep operating. So it makes perfect sense. Like, it's not going away, but let's be honest, it's the first step to going away. Like, I would love to see this game continue in perpetuity, but it's probably not gonna. It'll be like, its days are numbered already. But at least they said they were going to support it for a year, so hopefully people got what they need out of it, and wanted out of it. And I don't know what the future for this is. Maybe in a similar way to Knockout City, they can leave it and have like people just play on their own.
Because like you could go back and play. Well, I was going to say Left 4 Dead, but that's Valve. They probably just would never shut down the Steam their servers. But yeah, I think that this game definitely seems like what you were saying. Like they knew that a lack of interest would eventually come, so I think they built the game and their support model in mind with all that. Like, hey, we are going to have these expansions. We know that there's going to be an end date. We're the team that did Evolve. We're not going to sort of fool ourselves into believing that we're going to make a game that people will play forever. We know that things come and go, so we'll make this game in a way that's okay, and we can move on. And it seems like they are totally operating the way that they expected things to go, or at least one of the ways they expected things to go. And they got their money. The game did well enough when it launched. They've been on PlayStation Plus and Game Pass, so they got their money from Sony and Xbox. They continue to get it probably because they're still on those services. So it's like they had it like kind of all figured out, and now it's time to take that money, reinvest, make something new. And it's like, okay, this is maybe the old model still working in some ways, and again, kind of a relief. Like, oh yeah, people can still make games this way.
Yeah, it is that old model of like but it's kind of a new version of it where it's like, we've got limited time with this thing. Let's do what we can with it while it's relevant, and then once it starts reaching that period or kind of like phase of irrelevancy creeping, time to move on.
Yes, and again, this is not the game. I see some confusion in chat. This is not the game multiplayer shutting down. You can still play this game. They are just saying here, it's currently available and it will continue to operate, and that's as far as we know for the game. Mm-hmm. Sony claims nearly 30% of active PS5 users never used PS4. This comes from Chris Scullion at VGC. Nearly 30% of monthly active users on PlayStation 5 never used a PlayStation 4, according to Sony. The claim was shared as part of a company presentation discussing its Q3 2022 results for this financial year, in which Sony noted that the percentage of monthly active users increased by around 30% in December. In addition, it said nearly 30% of PS5's monthly active users are users who never used a PS4. So, with the spread of PS5, the acquisition of new users is progressing. In a separate document, Sony defined monthly active user as an established total number of unique accounts that played games or used the service or used services on the PlayStation Network during the last month of the quarter, noting that it is based on the company research and may be updated in the future. Companies are usually pretty good at tracking this kind of stuff. That number seems really big, though, because the PS4 was massive. And
that seems wild.
Now, it's
suspiciously wild.
Exactly, suspiciously wild. Now, maybe this is like they are like, well, the way we measure this is people who have new accounts, and I mean, I guess that would still be pretty reliable. How many
people are making a new account for it, or how many people are like suddenly discovering that you can go online, or whatever it may be. I'm not saying they're lying. I'm just saying that is a crazy number. Like 30% never used it. I mean, it's hard to say what.
Cosmos says 30% of people forgot their passwords.
That is, you know what?
That's very.
I believe it.
I'm buying that actually.
I'm buying that. I don't know what would inspire a 30% uptake in. I could also see like there being a genuine like major growth into a market of people who just did not play PlayStation 4 games in any meaningful way. Let's not forget that, the PlayStation 5's kind of life cycle has encompassed a period where people were basically left with little to nothing else to do but play video games if they could get their hands on this console.
Yeah.
It was released in the COVID era, so I can imagine a bunch of people who just weren't interested in video games before, or like did not go online with them, being like, you know what, I got nothing else to do. I'm gonna die if I go outside, so I'm just gonna stay inside and play these video games. I'm gonna sign up for an account, talk to my friends on here. It's feasible. Like the world circumstances, economic circumstances, and kind of like general culture has pushed in a way where it's definitely feasible.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing also where we're probably thinking about it from our narrow position of like, well, these are the countries we think of as buying consoles, but they did enter places like China, right? With the PS5, the PS5 launched in China in a way the PS4 slowly did over time. So maybe the PS5 is just catching on faster there. I have no idea, but maybe that's true for other markets as well. They probably are just becoming even more global, and that's helping as well. But yeah, I think across those circumstances, and then also some people, moving out of their parents' house, forgetting their passwords to their email, so they can't even recover their account. They probably only play free to play games or whatever. Making a Smurf account, all those things combined probably do make a difference.
It's the learning that 30% of PlayStation 5 users, current ones, didn't play the PlayStation 4 means it's the perfect time to yoink those PlayStation Essential games.
Yes.
Which is like, oh, these people have never played those games. Let's take them away.
Yep.
That's not technically fair. I'm sure that they had their opportunity to download them, but it's also like one of those weird things where it's like, hey, maybe you should leave those free games from the PlayStation 4 era that everyone loves on there.
That's been like your calling card for this, from the beginning of this generation. Yeah, it does feel a bit strange.
That's 30% of PlayStation 5 users that have never played Bloodborne.
There you go. Yeah,
maybe they should remake it and put it out.
Bloodborne was part of that PlayStation Plus collection, right?
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4 Remake's reign is setting people off. This comes from Zach Swisen at Kotaku. First, there was Spider-Man's infamous Puddlegate. Then there was the not-so-watery streets of Cyberpunk 2077. Now it seems video games' next watery pre-release controversy involves the heavy rain seen in some gameplay of Resident Evil 4 Remake. Some think it looks as bad as the awful-looking rain in the GTA Trilogy remasters. Others are convinced it's just video compression. And remember, none of them have actually played the game. I think I might have a little bit of this here.
Let's get this video up.
Yeah, I'm going to bring it up just a second. Basically, it does look like big, chunky drops. And it does kind of do the thing of, let me get right here, that happens in the GTA Trilogy remaster where it's kind of... it looks like it's happening on a different plane of existence than everything else. I'll try to frame it up better here in a second. But
is this Twitter?
This is a GIF. I could probably bring up a video as well. Just a second.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm like not too worried about this because this he putting out Puddlegate. This does feel like the kind of thing that could be like that, where it's like we haven't played the game. We are anxious because we just want this to be perfect. And what if it's not perfect?
I could not bring myself to give a shit as much. Like, I mean, I understand the reticence and the fear around it, but like, I find something meaningful to get upset about. For fuck's sake, what do you know about making video games? Relax. Like, wait until it comes out. And if it, like, while you're playing it, if it looks shit, or while you see, if a review says, yo, the rain looks really shit. But I don't know, man. Everyone who works on a video game usually knows when there's something in their video game that sucks. Do you think there's someone at Capcom right now going, oh, guys, did you realize that the rain is shit?
Yeah.
I just saw it everyone is saying on Twitter, the rain is shit. Did anyone know? If the rain is shit, they know it's shit. They'll probably figure it out. And if it comes out and it still sucks, then you can lose your shit about it. Please calm down. You don't know what you're fucking talking about. Relax.
The having to bear witness to people's anxieties about about products before they have a chance to actually experience the products is actually one of the worst things about this job. It's like,
well, so it looks at its worst when there is a flash of light.
Yep.
Like you can see the thunder. That it looks fine up until there's the lightning strikes.
And that's almost certainly
and that's when
compression.
everyone goes, "Oh, it's chunky." It's like, no, what are you talking about? It was like a very specific scenario where you saw it. Like it's a short clip. It could be that the lighting in that area. It could be the torches. It could be the amount of enemies, the way the shadows. There's so many variables at play in this. It could be something in the engine. It could be anything that people going like, the rain looks terrible. It's like, what the fuck do you know? What are you talking about?
And flashes of white light are definitely something that like cause a lot of problems for compression like algorithms. Yeah. So they're just like suddenly, what the fuck? We got to completely do the opposite of everything we've just been doing, and that can really like make it stand out, especially like when it's a recorded video. Honestly, I think this is about just shaming thick, fat raindrops. I'm over it.
Yeah,
they're beautiful to me.
Shame. Yeah. They're beautiful. Also, look at the curves on the rain, man. Yes, mama.
Supple droplets, absolutely.
What are you doing with all them droplets?
what them droplets do.
What them droplets do.
All right, let's get back to this.
It will probably be fine. I just hate this this culture of people trying to make themselves feel smart by pointing out something that is like a developer probably knows and is probably already is like, yeah, we you know that is happening. You're looking at it in a very specific circumstance, you know, and then telling developers who work for years on this stuff and have like a detailed, intricate, and like personal connection and knowledge of this thing that you somehow have identified something in their work that they missed. Like, oh, did you know the rain was like this? Yes. Yes, we knew. Okay. Do you know why we knew? Because we've been working on it for 4 years. You've been looking at it for 3 seconds.
And it's not like this is the team that's being rushed out to do the GTA trilogy with like no budget and barely any support, and you have to like use AI to do everything. This is the team that did Resident Evil 2 remake. This is Capcom's like premier This is like the thing that they expect to make the most money for them this year. Like they expect hey, we're going to make the most money we've ever made in a year. And the reason for that is Resident Evil 4 is going to crush everything. Like they know they want this thing to be perfect too. So please just keep, for the most part, stow the anxieties until we actually get hands on. And that means goes for the players or the people out there. We're like, hey, if you are anxious about something, just wait, take a deep breath, play it, and then we'll see.
The rain is too chunky. I will not be purchasing Resident Evil 4 remake.
Even Zach in his story is like, listen, I watched this video twice and didn't notice anything until people on the subreddit started getting weird about it. And I'm like, yeah.
People in subreddits are getting weird?
People in subreddits are getting weird. From Detective Pikachu 2 is still in active development. This comes from
How thick is Pikachu now? Is he too thick?
He needs to go
too
back
fat?
to being thick. This is what I'm talking about.
He needs to hit the gym, that fat rat.
No, I want that fat rat to be fatter. That's what I want.
I bring back Detective Pikachu. I want OG Generation 1
exactly,
Pikachu, who was like built like a lorry, built like
absolutely.
a 18-wheeler. Bring that Pikachu back.
Weighs like 250 pounds, even though he's like 6 inches high. Yeah.
It's like fucking Danny DeVito.
Yeah, absolutely. This comes from Oysen Kunke at GameSpot. Did I get that name right?
Oysen, yes.
Oysen, thank you so much. It turns out that Detective Pikachu 2, specifically the film, not the game, is still in the works, though getting it made doesn't sound like an easy task. 2019's Detective Pikachu was an immediate hit, amassing $433 million worldwide, making it the second highest grossing video game film of all time, and generally positive reviews. So a sequel was presumed to be a safe bet. It's also almost 4 years later, and we haven't really heard much, with the star of the film, Justice Smith, even saying Detective Pikachu 2 is unlikely. But according to Polygon, a sequel is in development. It's just not clear how far along it is. A representative for a Legendary Entertainment told Polygon that the film is still in active development, but the production company wasn't able to divulge who is actually working on it at the moment. Polygon also reported that the Pokemon Company declined to comment when asked about the film or other projects. Touching on the topic of a new film while discussing their animated series Koala Man, writers for the Detective Pikachu, Benji Samit and Dan Hernandez implied they weren't involved in the sequel. I think that was true for another writer. That was, Oren Uziel, who was the 22 Jump Street writer, worked on a previous treatment and says no, they're no longer working on it either. So do you think this is actually really still happening, or is it one of those like, well, we still have the rights, we better make something happen here?
I think it's one of those things that's probably just on the back burner where they're just kind of keeping it going until the time feels right, or is, until the Pokemon Company is like, okay, now's the time, do it. I would be surprised. Like, I don't know why they wouldn't make a sequel given the success of Detective Pikachu. It might just be a case of like they haven't found the right script. Like, there's, where do you go from here? Like, the big kind of draws to making an interesting movie have already been laid out. Like, the idea of a Pikachu that speaks was a big thing. Like, and they kind of, that's ordinary now in this universe. So I think it could be a case of like, what's the right kind of like story for this? Maybe they just haven't found it. And the right story is a murder mystery in a haunted house featuring Detective Gengar. Thank you very much.
Wow, that sounds incredible. Please give me that. Man, why you can't put it out there? You got to get your representative out there to send that over to them so you can get paid.
I don't have a representative.
That's your first fuck up, man.
I need to get an agent.
Yeah, you got to get an agent. That sounds incredible. They should do that. We're also still waiting for Detective Pikachu 2, the game, which has been previously said to be in the works. I think the last time we heard about it was 2019. So it's been a long time since an update on that as well. I don't know. Maybe they're waiting for the game to come out, and then they're like, okay, now we can build up momentum for the movie again. That seems like a rough one, because who knows what's actually going to happen with that, if that's actually going to come out. But hopefully that does also feature Detective Gengar. Would Detective Gengar would Benoit Blanc voice?
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, I think he'd have like a very like snooty kind of Englishman voice.
Oh, I like that too. Yeah,
but he also would get like aggressive. Like, Detective Gengar is a very serious British detective, but he absolutely is incapable of resisting the opportunity to scare the shit out of people. So like he will take that opportunity to just like burst into a room and like
it's just so when he's in the middle of a conversation, he just starts like listing away. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Just give me a second. Just give me a second.
He just like phases through a wall and scares the shit out of a child and comes back.
You got to stop doing that. Can't help it.
Yeah.
It's in my nature.
Yeah, it's in my nature.
I like that. When you say snooty,
it's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yes.
That kind of thing.
That's perfect. When you say snooty British voice, like, is that like a London voice? Because I'm always interested in like the regional dialects.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost like a Tory-ish, upper class. Like,
sure.
I don't know. It could be. I think it's more likely to be like from the countryside, if I'm honest.
Okay.
But like, I think like London also have some fairly.
Birmingham, please, is our rules. Okay.
No, but no, there'll be no Birmingham accents in this movie.
Okay. No, the Xbox 360 marketplace isn't closing in May. This comes from Evan Campbell at GameSpot. Last night, there was growing concern Microsoft was closing down the Xbox 360 marketplace for good, possibly as soon as May. But those worries can apparently be put to rest. It all started with when people like Twitter user Wario64 noticed an Xbox support page that showed an Xbox 360 marketplace update article. It read, "We will be closing the Xbox 360 marketplace over the next year, so we encourage you to purchase any Xbox 360 games or DLC by May 2023. However, Gamatsu shortly thereafter contacted a Microsoft spokesperson who confirmed this article was posted in error. The marketplace will not close down in May. Microsoft will, however, be removing 45 old games and DLC from the Xbox 360 marketplace later this month." That's a pretty weird thing to happen.
I want to see how they wrote up an entire article that was just straight up a lie. Right, like, who's responsible for writing an entire article that's like, we're going to shut this down. This is what's going to happen
next year, too.
Over the course of next year, here's all the details. And then been like, someone else coming out and be like, "You made all that shit up. Why did you post that?"
You know what happened is they probably were like ready to do this. Let's get stuff in the works. Let's plan it all out. And then Sony was like, "Hey, everybody, we're closing down the Vita store." And everyone's like, "Fuck you, Jim Ryan. No, you're not.
Yeah.
Keep that shit open." And Microsoft's like, "Oh God, everyone just look away.
Yeah.
Don't make eye contact."
Could be, yeah. The most likely thing is like it was just created a while ago, or like written for some other initiative that was going to happen, and then they stopped it from happening, and then this accidentally got published. You know, either by mistake, by a human error, or like CMSs be wilding nonstop.
Yeah,
so,
or Arwell says they borrowed CNET's AI. That could be possible too.
Jeez, yeah, just straight up lied.
The day before might be real, but its latest gameplay trailer looks like a Fortnite mod.
Looks like straight ass.
Have you been? Okay, I'm glad.
God, I looked at it. I was
happy.
like, what is this?
Oh, I'm so glad.
Oh my God.
Okay, so let's bring this up now. There we go. Let me actually move this over a little bit. This okay.
Doo-doo. I was watching it and I was like, good luck with this. Okay.
It is okay, so the day before is one of the most successful unreleased games on Steam in that it has more wish list than anything else. A lot of that's based on the promise of it just looking like this massive open world simulation of like this zombie world. Not even like a zombie game, like it's just going to simulate everything about a zombie world. Fans have been waiting a long time to see gameplay, and here it is, and it looks like all the money went into her butt, and that's it.
Yeah, I was like, are you going to shoot anything? Are you gonna encounter any sort of like dramatic, like, I don't know, opposition or challenge?
There
like,
were 40 seconds in, 45.
It's just like just running around.
Just still running. And then this is my favorite part. So she runs into this house. We're a minute 15 in. And then for like the next solid 2 minutes of this 10-minute gameplay reveal trailer, she is going to be adding weapons in a menu, or adding modifications to a weapon in a menu. This is incredible to me. I love this so much.
This is it. This is it for the next 2 minutes.
Yep. It's incredible. I'm like, oh my God, they are really just killing time in this menu. The game does not look like those initial images. It does look like, as John Esposito from Twinfinite points out, it looks like a Fortnite mod. They said they were like moving over to Unreal Engine 5. That was part of one of the reasons they're delaying the game, I guess. It barely looks like a game. I think that this thing is, the thing that they're showing us is probably something that they can boot up on a computer. There is no way this is anywhere close to a product. I just don't believe it.
At most a prototype, like of just a character existing in a world, like, and I would be well up for like a comprehensive like sim zombie world style shooter, but given how long they've had and what they've been touting and where they're saying they're at and the interest levels and the wish listing, like, I expected something more than this.
They're
like,
still, just for audio listeners, they're still adding modifications to the weapon still.
Yeah, and like there's not even like a dramatic, like a kind of a, you know, trailer style treatment to it, where it's like zombies are suddenly appearing, like coming over a wall or something in that way that you expect from a zombie piece of fiction. It's just a woman running around in an empty world, and then 2 minutes of an M4 being slowly modified, and then I think she goes back out and runs around some more.
Yeah, so she runs around some more. She does like kill like a couple zombies. Yeah, now she's like looting a house that is just completely almost textureless in its look. Yeah, there's like one other player out there, but there's you got in the world. It looks like one of these video games, an apocalyptic video game, and I think she's gonna kill like from a distance a handful of zombies, and it's like 2 or 3 at a time. Never anything more than that. There's no danger or anything in this.
Yeah, there's no danger. Yeah. It's unclear what the objective here is. It's confusing as to like what they're trying to. It just seems like they're running across this entire game world, and there's nothing there really. I don't know what this is all about. Good luck to this development team. I hope it gets to where you want it to be, but I mean, probably shouldn't have shown this.
At the very least, we could say better rain than Resident Evil 4. Am I right? Come on.
Oh yeah, there's. In fact, they were so confident in their rain that they just did not put any in there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. They were like, you know how you solve the rain problem? You don't have any rain.
Yeah, I love this. Like little. Big here it is. Move. We just get a little Resident Evil style input on the digital keypad here. It's just, oh boy. This is all they have, isn't it? All right, let's move on here. Bring this back up there. Japan's physical sales are updated from January 23rd to January 29. This comes from installbaseforum.com. For that week, Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life for the Nintendo Switch was the top-selling game.
Grubb.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit. The Last of Us on PC has been delayed.
Oh, okay.
March
What's the details? Give it to me.
28th, an update from Naughty Dog has been posted across its social networks, including Instagram and Twitter. The update reads, let's get right to it. We initially announced The Last of Us Part 1 PC release will be March 3rd, but we've decided to push its launch date out by a few weeks. It will now release on March 28th. We at the studio have been completely blown away by the outpouring of love and support for The Last of Us' last few weeks, hearing your love for the HBO adaptation, seeing your beautiful photo mode shots, and learning about the world and characters our studio created nearly a decade ago to reach new and old fans alike floors us every day.
What are the dates on there again? From when to when?
So used to be March 3rd. Now it's March 28th. So a few weeks. Yeah,
about a month.
We want to make sure that The Last of Us Part 1 PC's debut is in the best shape possible. These additional few weeks will allow us to ensure this version of The Last of Us lives up to your and our standards. We are so excited to bring The Last of Us Part 1 to a new platform, reaching new and returning players with Joel and Ellie's unforgettable story of survival. And we hope you'll continue to look forward to its PC release on March 28th. The Naughty Dog team appreciates your support and enthusiasm, and we look forward to sharing more about The Last of Us Part 1's PC version soon. Done.
I guess fine. I mean, this show, right, will still probably just be ending right around then, right? Because I mean, how many episodes we're in? 3. How many episodes is the first season of the show? Probably 8.
I think it's 9.
9.
I think it's 9.
All right, so yeah, that's like another another 5 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, and that's do you think this is a delay to put Bella's face in officially? And also mod in. Imagine if they release it and they're like, listen, we needed a few weeks so we could get all these faces in.
I mean, they can't do that. Do you think they would do that? I don't know.
That would be pretty sick. I think that would be pretty sick.
I think it would be the kind of thing would be dangerous because I might get I mean, as long as I think maybe if you give the players the option, it would be fine. But I think there'd be a backlash from fans. I guess it's on PC though, so like the fans that would be. I mean, if
it's an option, just make it an option, just a toggle.
Yeah, that's good. Like that could be like because that could be like a tie-in with the show too. Like and if you pre-order now, you'll get the skins for that stuff. Maybe it probably would take a little bit longer than that to make stuff like that happen.
All right, Jeff, tell people what Japanese people are buying. Go ahead, you little pervert.
Thank you, Tar. Here's
this.
what they're doing over their store. You see, they're farming over there on the Nintendo Switch. It sold like 40,000 copies. Really, this is still a pretty familiar list, other than Forspoken debuting there at number 3. And that's what 29,000 copies sold. That's really why I wanted to talk about this. That seems pretty disappointing, right?
Yeah, that doesn't seem great.
This is physical sales now, but even still.
Yeah, I imagine like there'll be a decent chunk of digital sales as well. I think that one's had a bit of a rough go of it, not only because quality-wise, but like I don't remember any marketing for it pre-release, so I can't imagine like pre-order numbers was especially high either.
I did see commercials for it during some football games and I think even some like hockey games. So it's like they were advertising on like
hockey.
Yeah, but listen, I was watching hockey, and I'm like, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, if they're advertising even on hockey, then they must be spending money everywhere because no one watches hockey. So that must have just been like extra money they were putting into this. So it's like, what is? I don't know. But I think this just feels like the game did not resonate with anybody. Is kind of what it feels like. I thought if any region was going to save this game, it was going to be Japan, and that doesn't seem to be the case.
No.
Let's see.
I feel like sadly you will not be seeing Cuff again in all likelihood.
I will not be cuffing ever again.
No.
23.
What is the main character's name again? I've already forgotten her name. Faye?
Faye, good job. Wow.
Is it Faye?
And what's the name of the world? It is Faye, I think. Frey?
Azeroth.
Is it Frey? It's Frey.
Frey?
It's Frey.
Frey. Okay, Frey.
It's like Athea, right? Or Athea?
Athea, that's the
Athea?
one.
Okay.
That's the one. My brain went to Amestris, which is the world of Fullmetal Alchemist, which is a much more superior world.
23 of the games in the top 30 were Nintendo Switch games. 5 are PS5, 2 are PS4. The PS5 sold 62,000 units, and the Switch sold 51,000 units. So the systems continue to do very well. The Xbox did 1,265 units. So struggling over there. And they're raising the price of the Xbox in Japan, so probably not going to help it too much.
Yeah.
Price
if you're going
gouge
to pay
'em.
for this, you're going to pay more.
Yeah,
all right?
it's a luxury good.
Yeah.
All right.
This is American tax.
Yes. Let's see here. You know what? We got just a little bit extra time. We're not going to use all of it. But, chat, if you have questions, why don't you send them over here? We're going to get to them.
This is what happens on a Friday.
That's right. I hit the yummy, yummy button. So welcome to Grubb Snacks inside of Game Mess Mornings. If you have a question, go ahead and hit that Ask a Question button. Or if you are on Twitch, just add us at Giant Bomb. We'll read it. From Looter Jennings, how are we celebrating the weekend?
Is it a special weekend or just a normal weekend?
I think it's
just
a normal one.
weekend.
You know, we should be careful. Well, it's Black History Month, Tam. Wow, you are so offensive.
What the fuck?
I'm trying to cancel you instead.
What the fuck? What is this cancel? Just absolutely.
I'm sorry, Tam.
What
I'm sorry,
a
I
shot
lashed out.
chaser.
I'm sorry, I lashed out. I'm sorry. I felt attacked from all sides yesterday. I lashed out. Oh.
I will be celebrating by what am I doing? I'm just gonna play some video games.
I still haven't seen Avatar in the theater. I don't know if I'm going to now. I really want to.
I feel like if you haven't seen it by now, you should probably just wait.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of what I'm thinking too, but it's like it is like a.
I did that with Black Panther. I've still not seen Black Panther.
Yeah, me neither.
Is that out yet? Can I stream that on Disney Plus? Surely it's soon. It's out on streaming. There we go. I will watch Black Panther this weekend. Let's
there you go. Okay, I will too.
I was just like, I didn't get a chance to see it in theaters, so it missed me. Yeah.
I'm gonna play some games too. I'm gonna finish Hi-Fi Rush.
What are you gonna be playing?
I'm gonna play some of that freelancer mode, and then I'm gonna be practicing my Mike Tyson punch out. I have the world record on 3 of the fights, which means I'm just tied for the best times that you can get. Let's see, Glass Joe, Von Kaiser, and Don Flamenco 1. Dan does not believe my Don Flamenco 1 time is real. He thinks I'm using an emulator to cheat, but no, I did it. So
nice.
Yeah, I'll be doing some of that. Let's see some of these other questions. From Snicks. Nope, that's not a question. Okay, yeah, from JoJo Dancer. When is the Balan Wonderworld sequel coming? Hopefully never. The other day I threw my unopened copy of Balan Wonderworld over there on the floor, and I have not picked it up yet. It's just been sitting over there. I think my kids stepped on it.
What's going on with the whole jail thing?
I mean, he's been indicted at this point, right? So we're probably just waiting for the trial to happen or for something to happen with that stuff. But also, it's Japan, so even the fact that he's been arrested on these things multiple times means that he's like kind of untouchable, right? That's how it works in Japan. So it's like, well,
I would love it if he was like, his strategy was, I'm going to announce a sequel to Balan Wonderworld. It will mean that there is now an economic responsibility on me, and thus I cannot go to prison because I need to make Balan Wonderworld 2.
That would be truly
incredible,
terrifying and scary. I would have to go hide. I'd get a bunker. From our wolves for Tam. If Grubb was British, where would he be from? Oh, I like that.
Oh, British. If he was British, where would he be from? I think he'd be a Londoner. I think Grubb would be a Londoner. I'm
from Ohio, which does not. Well, I'm from Michigan, Ohio, the Midwest.
No, but I feel like you'd have. So the problem with the thing with London or Great Britain or the UK is it's much easier to move. It's less of a culture shock. You move from one place to another here, and it's like you're basically going to a different planet.
Yeah, it's a different country.
Whereas with London, I feel like you'd probably be fine. You'd very easily move down there. If not, I would say you'd probably be from somewhere like Cornwall. Which is pretty far out and it's quite remote to a degree. You'd be the coolest person in Cornwall, easily.
I appreciate that. I think that's probably true. It's almost certainly true. All right, I'll make it happen. From Soft Serve, and that's a good name, in the Twitch chat. Why does Miyazaki love Poison Swamp so much?
I think it's just a statement on life. Like, life is a poison swamp.
Yeah.
You have to walk through it slowly, and there's constantly going to be an annoying poison at you that deals damage over extended periods of time. And you will be randomly attacked. And, that's life. Figure it out.
I do have, the side of my house, there's two kind of upright bush trees-like things. And
please tell me you've got a poison swamp at your house.
I don't have a poison. There is a swamp back behind the house, but it's frozen right now. It's kind of swampish, not much of a swamp. But to the side of my house, there are birds that live in these trees, and it's winter. It's like -15. I was just out there, and they're still flapping at me every time I come out there. And I do imagine that they are the wingless birds from Kaled. Is that what it is?
Yep.
And that's every time, and I'm like, this is actually I'm actually scared of birds now because of that stupid game. So, from Dominito, Jeff, is Capcom going to remake Dead Rising now that they've done the major Resident Evil titles?
No.
They are going to stick with Resident Evil remakes.
Resident Evil forever.
Yes, they will wrap back around, I think, before they do Dead Rising.
There's I think they're going to do 5 next.
I think so too.
I think they'll do 5, and they'll mix it up a bit, and they'll have Sheva roll up and be like, "Hey, partner," and then you'll be like, "Oh fuck, I forgot about you."
And you get into the towns, and you're like, "Oh, this is problematic still." Oh no.
I hope they do Code Veronica though.
I think that I hope that the Resident Evil 3 team does Code Veronica and yep.
I don't think Resident Evil fans would like the sound of that.
Yep, I know. I think that's the right. I don't think that's the right
probably
move.
What's going to happen, though.
I think that's the right move, because then you let the other team they're doing Resident Evil 4, right? That was Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4.
Yeah,
they're probably going to move on to either 5 or 6. I think so.
Oh god, I'm fascinated to see what happens when they get to Resident Evil 6, where they're going to do Resident Evil 6. If they do Resident Evil 6, I'm betting. I guarantee you that is going to be a completely new game. It's just going to be called Resident Evil 6, and it will be an entirely original game. They're just going to act like Resident Evil 6 did not happen. Oh, Wesker's son? Don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
Let's see, anything else we're going to talk about from Spider-Man. Is it inevitable Scarlet and Violet DLC going to get announced at the next Nintendo Direct, or is it strictly a Pokemon Presents announcement? I can never remember. Jan might know, but I think they still sometimes show up in Nintendo Directs, right? These DLC announcements. They don't always save them for Pokemon Presents, but Pokemon Presents are, I think, overdue as well. So we'll probably get one of those soon. Okay, let's get to the poll from yesterday. I asked. Oh, let me fix that real quick. I asked Billy Mitchell, yes or no? Is this the right one? Is it the right? Yeah, this is the one I asked, right? This is from February 2nd. Yeah. Yes, 13.2%. No, 86.8%. I don't think that's high enough. No should be way higher.
Billy Mitchell ? That was it.
Billy Mitchell? Yeah.
And no won out. I think no is the correct answer.
I think it's sort of unequivocally the right answer. Yeah.
Billy Mitchell, from the first moment I saw him, looked like a supermarket manager that had way too much power.
Yes.
Every time I see him, I'm like, he's watching you stack those shelves. And the moment you put something slightly off center, he rolls up and will give you a fucking disciplinary for it.
The greatest moment in documentary film making happened in The King of Kong when the films, the team that was there filming it, not usually on the camera for that movie, you don't usually hear them, but for one scene they did let their audio bleed in, and it was when Billy Mitchell was trying to explain what he used as his 3-letter initial for old video games, for old arcade games, when he was putting in a score. He's like, well, what do you think I used? And Billy Mitchell's just stroking his American flag tie. And of course it's USA. Of course it is. Of course this schmuck is using USA as his fucking 3-letter name. And you could just hear the smirk on the director's mouth when he said, tie? Yes, fuck with this. Even filming that, you could tell they just hated Billy Mitchell, and they just loved messing with them. And I'm like, yeah, and it came through in that movie, which is.
Has anyone tried his hot sauce?
I've not. I would if
What's
I
it
came across
called?
the bottle. I don't know. I'm sure you
Billy
just
Mitchell
Google
hot
Billy Mitchell
sauce.
hot sauce, though.
Is it? I think it's called Ricky's world famous Louisiana hot sauce.
That sounds right.
Is that correct?
That sounds right. He's from. He's like in Florida, right? He's actually maybe a primary Florida man, like Vector.
Is that correct? Should I buy this?
Yes, that's it, says Dresh. That sounds right. I think I'll try some too. I'll probably get some because I'd like to see. Maybe that's one thing really well.
I think I might not actually buy this because the label is absolutely atrocious.
Ooh.
It's so fucking bad.
The people are saying, Tam, don't do it. Okay. All right. Back up. Yeah, of course he's from Florida. All right. New poll question I have here. Do you believe The Day Before is a real video game? And I will include a link to that video as well.
While you're doing that, I'll read this review on Amazon. 5 stars. Like a thicker Tabasco. Very tasty with just the right amount of heat. From the real King of Kong. Always been a fan of Ricky as an old vintage arcade gamer and finally tried his sauce. Ricky. Even though I can't take as much spicy as I used to, I am a longtime fan of sauces like Tabasco, Frank's, Louisiana. Louisiana is just a place, my man. And I think this beats them all. It's kind of like a thicker Tabasco. Very tasty with just the right amount of heat.
Man, that's when I have my hot sauce, I'm always like, it's not thick enough. It's got to be thicker. Man.
All right, let's go for the other side of it.
Sure.
2 stars. Not worth the cost. I bought it as a joke because Billy Mitchell put himself back in the news. Total waste of money. It just tastes like salt water, and its ingredients are aged red peppers. They must be bell peppers because there is no flavor or heat.
I love the idea of Billy Mitchell being like, just using old ingredients. Be like, just say it's aged. Like, just say it's aged.
It's fine.
We're not lying. Oh man. You did keep it. Have you like kept up with like the latest with him where he?
No, what's he done now?
It was the pictures of him. One of his times he set the score. The joystick on the Donkey Kong cabinet, there's a picture of it finally, and it's not the original joystick, which is, and he's claimed the Donkey Kong cabinet he used was completely unmodified, so he's been lying this entire time, 100% confirmed.
This entire time.
Yes. But he also had people like sign affidavits for him when he like submitted the score, and they were all like his friends, and one of them's been convicted of fraud multiple times, things like that. It's like, oh, this is the crew that runs with Billy Mitch. Of course it is. Billy Mitch up in this bitch. All right. The new poll question is up now. Feel free to give that a vote. We'll discuss that on Monday. In the meantime, what else do we have going on?
You want one more review?
I do, please. Yes. Please.
1 star. Billy Mitchell is a fraud. Tastes like it was made by a cheater.
Hell yes. Another Billy Mitchell story where he's like, my doctor won't see me anymore. My doctor of 30 years won't see me anymore because he looked me up and he saw I was claimed I was a cheater.
Oh yeah.
He probably that was a good excuse. He never wanted to see you, homie. Okay. Tam, we got anything happening? We're doing UPF later today, everybody.
UPF is popping off.
I do believe it's Fortnite, so just brace yourselves for it, everybody. We're gonna be playing some Fortnite.
Friday night 14.
Unprofessional Fortnite is happening. Looking forward to it. With Abby, confirmed. All right, I was going to say it. Jan confirms it's with Abby. So look out for that, everybody. It's going to be a good time. Tam, thank you so much for spending today talking with me about video games. I really appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me. As always, I am now just looking at pictures of Billy Mitchell.
Yeah,
the funny thing is, in the British soap EastEnders, there was a character named Billy Mitchell. And so every now and then you get a picture of him interspersed with American disgrace Billy Mitchell.
EastEnders is like the working class side of town, right? Is that what that is?
EastEnders is, it's like London, but like from the very working class part of London. Okay. It's a fictional place called Albert Square.
Okay.
But it's all just like working class. people there.
So, that Billy Mitchell, does he look more or less like a douche than our American Billy Mitchell, USA Billy Mitchell?
He looks like less of a douche. He is a bit of a douche, but he's still a better person than the real Billy Mitchell.
Good for you. Nah, that's the real Billy Mitchell now. We're taking the title away from BM, Bowel Movement. All right. Thank you, everybody. You're the best audience in gaming. Thanks for sticking with us on Taking the Trash Out Fridays. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.